In your Google Classroom menu items, you see an About tab. The About tab contains general information about the course and is a great place to put resources for your students that aren't necessarily tied to a particular lesson. For example, that might be a link to a course syllabus, a link to a course website, perhaps a YouTube video that explains rules that you use throughout the school year, but it's a more generalized area. So up at the top, you have this About section where when you edit this, you can put the name of your course, you can explain the purpose of the course and the goals. There's an option to put your classroom number, and it also identifies for you which specific folder in your Google Drive is connected to this overall course. Now let me specify a little bit more about this Google Drive folder because this is key. So back in my Google Drive, I actually have, here I'm in my drive, I have a folder called Classroom. I did not make this folder. It was generated automatically at the moment that I created my first Google Classroom. And from that point on, anytime you create an additional class, an additional matching folder, and you can see icons for the folders here, get added to the classroom folder back in your drive. So for every folder that's listed here, you see a corresponding class here. These folder icons are the Google Classroom counterparts to the ones listed in your Google Drive Classroom folder. It is important that you don't ever rename or modify this classroom folder. Don't give it a new title. Just let it sit there doing its job because this folder is synced behind the scenes with your various Google Classrooms. So when I go back into a specific classroom, let me just say I'll go back into this one here, and I click the About tab, this Google Drive folder tells me which folder back in my drive is connected to this course. If I want to visit that folder, I can click here and it will take me back to my drive to that specific folder in my classroom folder in my drive. Okay? Where this folder comes into play is that if you choose to give assignments through Google Classroom, students, as they turn in assignments, you'll be able to view those documents that the students have shared with you in two different ways. Number one, you can view it through the Google Classroom screens themselves, or you can go behind the scenes, find the matching folder, and pop open those documents from this view as well. So the bottom line is just know that this folder is created automatically. It is constantly syncing with your Google Drive, so don't rename it or move it. The other thing to know about this About tab is that this is, again, a good place to put some extra resources that your students might use throughout the length of the course. You can give titles, so perhaps you have class website, and you can link out, oops, sorry, that is not my, that's my attachment. Link, that's the one I want. And you can put in the class website URL to your teacher website by adding the link. You can add YouTube videos, Google Drive documents, or file attachments from your home directory.